Greetings, fellow adult collectors. David Eon here from Open by Chance, where we are lovers of all things action figure and toy related from 1964 to 1994 and beyond. Not necessarily limited to that, but you got to admit that 30-year time period, that's the sweet spot. And of course, within that time frame, this includes Hasbro's GI Joe, one of the most iconic action figures ever made, from which I do have a soft spot for ARAH, which is an acronym. It stands for A Real American Hero, and that's the series which began hitting stores in 1982. And in fact, I do still own many of my original Joes. I've lost a lot, but I still have many of my original Joes from that time period that I obtained myself. And here you see some of them displayed in our toy museum. These photos that I'm showing right now are my original Joes that are in our museum. Okay, so what am I doing here today? Well, I thought it would be kind of fun to examine, quite frankly, some of the really bad designs on a few of the classic ARAH vehicles for GI Joe and Cobra. Don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything terrible about these vehicles. I love these. I love the ARAH line and GI Joe in general. But as cool as many of these look, many of them would be seriously lacking in functionality in real life and would literally get the operator or the crew killed if it was a real vehicle. Now, I'll be taking a look at these in order of release date, starting in 1982, and I'm going to stop at about 1987, primarily because after 1987, some of the ARAH designs got so wild and so unrealistic that almost every vehicle made could very likely end up on a list like this. I mean, just 1988 and 1989 alone could probably fill a top 10 list all by themselves. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the ARAH vehicles that would be the most dangerous for a Joe to operate in real life. And again, we'll be looking at these in order of their release dates. And of course, we're going to start in 1982. Number 1, the Mobat, or Motorized Battle Tank. One of the first official ARAH GI Joe vehicles that was indeed motorized and came with an exclusive figure that would be Steeler. Now, whereas this is a very cool vehicle, and I had one myself, I don't have it anymore, but I did. In real life, it would be a disaster for Steeler, who cannot fit into the tank. He sits on top with his torso totally exposed to, well, pretty much everything. At least with the Mauler that was issued a couple of years later, you could safely secure your Joes inside the hatches like a real tank. But unfortunately, the Mobat leaves its driver totally exposed. What's the point of having all that armor and you can't secure the figure? This design flaw for the Mobat would be repeated with the 1985 Cobra Cat, which was basically a recasting of the Mobat. Number 2, 1983 gave us the Wolverine, or Armored Missile Vehicle. I don't know how you get Wolverine out of Armored Missile Vehicle as far as acronyms are concerned. Nevertheless, the Wolverine, which came with the exclusive CoverGirl figure, suffered from the same defect as the Mobat. The driver is completely exposed. And not only that, but poor CoverGirl is in as much danger from her own vehicle as she is from an enemy attack. If this vehicle were real, she would be incinerated by the backblast of her missiles when she launches them. Real missile vehicles are buttoned up tight to protect the drivers. Apparently, the designers of the Wolverine weren't concerned about the safety of the drivers. Number 3, 1985 gave us the Weapons Transport, a vehicle supposedly designed to carry artillery into the field to resupply other vehicles. Basically, this is a tractor towing a bomb. A slow-moving tractor with an exposed driver behind a gun that obstructs his view, that's hitched to high explosives, driving into a battlefield, doesn't seem like the brightest idea to me. Number 4, 1985 gave us the Cobra Ferret ATV all-terrain vehicle. I have to admit, this vehicle looks really cool. In fact, I still have my original Cobra Ferret from childhood. The problem with the Ferret is that it has rockets that backblast into each other. If one fires, it would blow up the other one, wouldn't it? Never mind that a rocket launching from that position could also potentially hit the tires and blow the Ferret up, killing the driver. Number 5, it's 1986, and this introduces us to Sergeant Slaughter's Triple T. Once again, we're hit with the full exposure problem on a vehicle, this time with everyone's favorite sergeant, Sergeant Slaughter. He's driving what looks like a heavy armored vehicle, but then he's exposed right on top of it, all the way to his knees in a seated position, almost daring Cobra to take shots at him. We saw a repeat of this vehicle's bad design with the 1988 Toys R Us exclusive Knight Raider Cobra vehicle. Number 6, still in 1986, which dominates this list for bad designs, gives us the Havoc, or Heavy Articulated Vehicle Ordnance Carrier. This entire vehicle is a disaster of designs. You've got Joes laying down under a giant windshield. You have Joes standing behind missiles that are facing backwards. A hover vehicle that is released by opening bay doors that will knock passengers off of the vehicle. And you have a driver exposed in a chair at the top. Come to think of it, Havoc is a good name for this vehicle, because if it were real, it would be a death trap on the battlefield. Number 7, still in 1986, the Cobra Stun. If you thought the Havoc was bad, you haven't seen anything till you've seen the Cobra Stun, a giant unstable tricycle with 2 swing-out pods that make the Stun an even bigger target, that has exposed soldiers in every position and a driver sitting way up on top. What could possibly go wrong? This would be reissued as part of the Python Patrol in 1989. Number 8, last one for 1986, Serpentor's Air Chariot. Let's take our Emperor and put him on a low-hovering vehicle that's painted gold and offers literally no protection for the driver who's standing on it. Serpentor in real life would be a sitting duck on this thing. If it wasn't for the fact that no Joe or Cobra on the show could ever hit anything that they shot at, he wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes in battle. I mean, really, did Cobra Commander design this thing to get him killed or what? Number 9, 1987, the Marauder motorcycle tank. It's a motorcycle and a tank. A combination that doesn't really make very much sense. What's the point of armoring a motorcycle that has 2 exposed riders right up front? Never mind the 2 missiles that will blow right past them when fired and likely burn them to death. And last but not least, number 10 brings us again to 1987 with the Cobra Buzz Bore. So I have to ask, how are you even supposed to drive this thing? It's basically an armored hamster wheel. The driver can't even see, which is depicted on the box art. And if it gets hit from the side, how do you stand it back up? And my favorite part of this design flaw, the missiles that launch from under the vehicle somehow. The Cobra Buzz Bore would set the standard, unfortunately, for exaggerated designs on ARAH vehicles to come all the way to the end of the original line in 1994. And that's all she wrote. That's 10 items, folks, from 1982 to 1987. Did I miss one? Tell us about it in the comments section down below. Tell me what vehicle from 1982 to 1987 you think should fall in that category that maybe I overlooked. What ARAH vehicle within that time frame just makes no sense to you? Share your thoughts with us. And if you have any ideas for future ARAH or other GI Joe related videos in the future, tell us about that also in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got anything out of it. If you had some fun with us today, I sure would appreciate it. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you're new. Find us on Instagram at Open by Chance. Check out our Patreon project down below. Lots of great giveaways there. Find us on Facebook. All those links are down below. Join the Open by Chance family. Come along with us and enjoy the ride. So thanks for watching, folks, and we will see you again soon.